Welcome to this episode of the DJ Interview with your host, Harry the Big Dog.
What's up, everyone? Harry the Big Dog here. It is DJ Interview time, but this time I don't have a DJ with me because this is one of my special guests. He's out of Queens. I'm gonna let him introduce himself. But I'll give the short intro. He's out of Queens. He collects tapes. Hint, hint. Y'all might know him already. And I thought it was so dope because I collect tapes too. I got all my collections. I got probably a couple of hundred. I got a few behind me right here that we gonna show off during the show. But this dude is out of Hollis, Queens. And he's been doing this tape thing. He's been rapping. We're going to get into his story. Let me welcome in my man, Geechie Dan. What's up,
brother?
my bro?
Hey, what's good, brother?
I'm good, man. It is good to have you. This is a nice change up from the DJs that we do, but I thought it was important to bring you on because you're that person, and we're going to get into the whole story. You're that person that collected what the DJs were doing, what the MCs were doing out there at the jams. We call them jams. I don't know what they called them outside of New York, but we call them jams.
Yeah, same thing. Block parties, park jams.
Yeah, because I know you moved out of New York too for a little bit, and we'll get into all of that. But
yes,
welcome to the show, man. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you.
We are here. So
I appreciate
let
that.
everybody know if your real name, if you want, your government name, and how you got that Geechie Dan name.
Okay, my real name, my government name is Daniel Chamberlain, and that's spelt with a, Layne. A lot of people say Lain, but that's not the correct spelling of my last name. My last name is Chamberlain, but that's my government name, and everybody knows me as Geechie Dan. That name came from me wanting to be down and have a nickname that was different from everybody else at the time. We're talking 1981, 1982. People say I look like a geech. That was one of the reasons why one or two people called me Geechie. They say I look like a geech. Another reason was because my favorite movie at the time was Let's Do It Again with Bill Cosby and Sidney Poitier and Jimmy Walker. That was Let's Do It Again. But the movie prior to that was Uptown Saturday Night that had Harry Belafonte, rest in power to him. He played a character named Geechie Dan.
Yes.
And so those were my favorite movies back then. Uptown Saturday Night and Let's Do It Again, A Piece of the Action. Those 70s movies with Bill Cosby and Sidney Poitier was just hilarious to me. So I wanted to have it, like I said, I wanted to be different. I didn't want to, a name that everybody else was having or rocking, or you know what I'm saying. So I said Geechie Dan fits because my real name is Daniel. That was my favorite movie, and nobody had it. Nobody had that name, so it was perfect. So Geechie Dan was born.
Nice. So you grew up in the Queens area. Were you originally from there? You were born there too? In the Queens area?
I was born in Harlem at Columbian Presbyterian up in Harlem, and that's the same hospital that Malcolm X got assassinated, that passed. He died at the Autobomb, and then he went to the hospital across the street. At the time it was Columbian Presbyterian, and that was the hospital I was born. And then my mother and my father lived on Burnside Avenue in the Bronx.
In the Bronx.
When I was in the Bronx. And my father used to work for Pan Am Airlines as the jet mechanic. And he was making good money back then in the 70s. And so, they met, my mom's and my dad met up. And eventually
along came you.
Yeah. I came in the world, and then they all decided to move to St. Albans, Hollis, Queens, right off of Farmers Boulevard and 112 Road. And so that's where I grew up. I was, that's when I went to school. I went to PS 118 and went to IS 238. And then I went to Jackson for a year, Andrew Jackson High School, and then it just seemed like everybody in my hood went to the same school, and I didn't want to go to the same school everybody went to in the hood. So I went to Francis Lewis, and ultimately I graduated from Francis Lewis High School in 1985.
Nice. Now I lived over in St. Albans, right off of Dunkirk Road.
Yeah, that's where LL.
I believe LL's grandmother and he used to live down there. I didn't get there until the 90s, the early 90s. Mm-hmm. But if you're familiar, you remember where Farmers and Linden met? And there was that Jamaican restaurant there.
The Jamaican restaurant, yeah. I heard about that. It was that food was so good. The Jamaican restaurant,
so good.
Yeah.
I don't know if they even open anymore, but
they're not. They're not.
Man.
Yeah, that food was good.
Different parts of Queens. I lived over in Rochdale. I lived over in Rosedale.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's about it before I got out of there. But small world. So let's get into your beginnings. Now, did you start off tape collecting, or were you a rapper, DJ?
I started off collecting tapes first.
Dope.
When I was collecting the tapes, that's when I started emceeing and getting into rapping, because I was emulating what I heard on the tapes. And the tapes that I'm talking about were park jams, parties, skating ring jams of the crews up in the Bronx and Harlem.
Right.
The Cold Crush 4, the Jazzy 5 MCs, Dr. Rock and the Force MCs, the Funky 4, ZULUNATION tapes, So Sonic Force, Funk Machine, Cosmic Force, the Echo Chamber with with ZULUNATION had at their parties, and Funky 4 +1, Dougie Fresh, Busy B, Treacherous 3, the Fearless 4 a little bit later, but early on the L Brothers.
Yes, the L Brothers.
Yeah, Fantastic Five, Grand Wizard Theodore, the Wiz Kid, rest in peace to the Wiz Kid. So these were all the tapes that I was listening to. We're talking about 80, 81, and I started collecting. I was getting snippets of these parties.
Right.
They would play them. Zulu Beats, Mr. Magic, Jerry Bloodrock, rest in peace. Mr. Magic, rest in peace. The world famous Supreme Team Show.
Yes. Supreme Team Show, Supreme Team Show.
Yeah. So yeah, they would play these tapes. They had, late night radio shows, the wee hours of the morning, and I stayed up the crazy hours, staying up, listening to these shows and taping these shows.
Yeah.
And so I would play, and then I would play them the next day in my boombox radio, up and down Farmers Boulevard and O'Connell Park on Murdoch Avenue, and on my block on 112 Road in front of my stoop.
Yeah.
So and as time went on.
Wait, Dan, explain to everybody who's not from the New York area what a stoop is.
Oh, when you sit in front of your house, you sit on this like a patio. It's like a stoop. It's a stoop. It's a brick.
It's hard to explain, right? It's like it's
steps. Yeah, some have steps, some don't have steps, but it's a place where you sit in front of your house. Yeah. And sometimes some homes had with a lounging area or patio or deck in the backyard. But for the most part, most of the people that we grew up with coming up, we sat in front of the house, on the stoop, on the steps, brick steps. So I would have my boombox radio playing on the step, and I would play these tapes while I'm watering the grass, while I'm cutting the grass, or while my mother had me watering down the driveway. Sometimes she had me paint the driveway every summer. I used to paint the driveway Battleship Gray. And so I used to start from the back of the the driveway to the front of the driveway, to the front of the house. And that would take me, a couple hours to paint the driveway. And so I would have my boombox radio outside, and some of the neighbors, some of my friends, would listen to the tapes, and they was like, yo, where you getting these tapes from? And I'm only getting like 15, 20 minutes of the tape. So as I got older, I wanted to get the whole entire party, the whole block party, the whole park jam, or the whole party at the skating ring, or wherever they jamming at, wherever they having the party at the T Connection, at Harlem World, at the Savoy Manor, at the park, at Bronx River. I just got, I just came, consumed with these tapes, these parties from, and I was like, I was emulating, and instead of saying their name, I would say Geechie Dan, I would say my name, and then ultimately start making up my own rhymes.
Right.
And I started out biting their rhymes, you know what I'm saying? But I would say some of my new rhymes, and then say some of their rhymes, and then ultimately I started saying and writing my own shit, my own rhyme. And so around 1983, I started working my first official job at First Boston. It was a brokerage firm on Wall Street at the World Trade Center. It was actually 5 World Trade Center. And this was my first job. I was on the co-op program in high school. And the co-op program allowed you to work full-time at a job 1 week and then go to school full-time the next week. And they would double up on 2 of your classes. I believe it was history and English. They would double up on your classes during the when you was in school that week. And so I had the opportunity working at 16 years old on Wall Street. I was a Wall Street messenger for this brokerage firm called First Boston. So there were other individuals at First Boston that was in the same, you know, co-op program from their respective high schools.
Right.
And so that allowed me to meet other people from outside of Queens. Yeah. You know, I was meeting, you know, guys from Brooklyn, guys from, you know, Washington Heights, from the Bronx, from Staten Island, you know, from other parts of Queens and Harlem, you know, so it was a great experience, you know, going to school and then going to work, and then, you know, so you know, say that Dave's like, yo, you into hip hop? Like, yeah, no doubt. I'm from Queens, and I started rhyming on the job, and, you know, networking and, you know, having fun, and, you know, over time, you know, we all connected, and they was like, yo, I got a tape I can give you, and this one would have a tape that he could give me. He had the whole party. He didn't just have the 20-minute, 15-minute shit that I had. He was like, yo, I got the whole tape. I said, word? Yo, I want it. So one year, I'll never forget, this is a crazy story, but it's true. One year, my homeboy, he was Puerto Rican. His name was Richie. He lived in Castle Hill up in the Bronx. And his older brother, probably about 5 years older than both of us, he had a tape of Dr. Rock and the Force MCs versus the Cold Crush 4 MCs in Paterson, New Jersey, 1983.
Wow.
And I couldn't believe my ears. Like, he said, Dr. Rock and the Force MCs going against the Cold Crush? What? Man. So Christmas time in 1980, might have been 1984.
Right.
His brother made a copy of the tape, gave it to him to give to me as a Christmas gift.
Oh, that's dope.
So he gave it to me. I couldn't even wait to get home. I went purposely to go get I went on Chambers Street, right up the block, and bought a Walkman so I can hear this tape all the way home, back to Queens on the E train. Yo, I was so excited, man. He gift wrapped it. He gift wrapped it, the tape, put a bowl on top of it and everything, B. And I was like, what? Man. You would have thought somebody gave me a car. Yo, you would have thought somebody gave me a car.
Wow.
That's so, you know what I'm saying? That's how excited I was when I got this tape. And then so now 1985 comes around, I graduate high school, I'm still on the job on First Boston. And, you know, we already went to each other's cribs, you know, each other's, you know, neighborhoods. We went to see Wild Style together.
Wow.
You know, the movie Wild Style came out. We went to Broadway and 47th Street where it was showing at, and I remember taping the whole movie. I taped the whole movie.
You was the person sitting deep like a.
Yo, it was crazy. I was like so passionate about hip hop at the time, man. My friends, they was like, yo, you just a hip hop dude, man. You love hip hop. Like, yeah, B. Yeah, I love hip hop. Yo, I was always excited about, you know, the fashion, the new tapes, or the new British Walkers, or the new boombox radio, all that was coming out. And so, you know, it was just a wonderful time to come up, man. And you know, it was great to come up at that time and really be passionate about something that you love. You know, this wasn't just a fad, even though my mother was telling me it was a fad. But like I said, I loved it. I was so passionate about what I was hearing from the tapes, and I was emulating, and ultimately, I saw myself being that person on the tape. And the only other person in my neighborhood that was as passionate as I was about hip hop was LL Cool J. Yeah.
Now, how did you meet up with him? Did you already know him? Y'all went to school?
I already knew LL from growing up on Farmers Boulevard, because he lived on one side of Farmers Boulevard. I lived on the other side of Farmers Boulevard, and his friends became my friends because I used to go on his block or down the street from his block from his grandmother's house and hang out with all the dudes on that side of Farmers Boulevard. Right. I was cool with. I played football with them. We used to drink, we used to smoke weed, and we all used to hang out at Bobo's. We used to hang out at Bobo's at the game room on Farmers Boulevard, right by the bus stop. So we was all cool, and so I already had met him, already had heard about him, already had heard his demo, I Need a Beat. He played his song. Okay. He played I Need a Beat for me before it was a record.
Now was it a different version from what actually came out? It was the same.
It was the same version, and he was so happy. He was so excited, and he rewinded the tape at least 6 times. I heard the tape once, twice, but this is how he was. So it's not no luck shit with him. Like this was his destiny.
Right.
I was there. I saw this dude live in the flesh right in front of me, being excited about his song and wanting to hear it on Kiss FM or BLS radio.
Right.
And when he heard his song on radio, that was his glory, B. Like, that was the shit. That was, yo. So, salute to him. I tell people, this man, LL Cool J, deserves every accolade. He embodied everything in hip hop. He deserves that. This is what he wanted from day one. It wasn't no fluke with him. It wasn't no fluke. Homeboy went for his, and I saw and watched him over the years to where he is today and where he started from. I am so proud of him. Salute to him. Salute to LL. Right. Word up. And I'm just like him. In some ways, I'm similar to him because I'm very passionate about hip hop. I'm very passionate about the culture. All the elements. I'm very passionate of meeting people like myself in networking.
Yeah.
And I started, early on when he signed his recording deal, the Def Jam in 1984. He went in the direction that he was supposed to go. That was, what I'm saying? That's his destiny. My destiny at the time, I wasn't sure. Right. I wasn't quite sure. I knew somewhere along the line I would end up in hip hop somewhere, but it just wasn't my time at that time. So I'm here now, but there's a lot of in-between stuff that happened and that occurred that I didn't quite go into the path that I wanted to go into at that time like I wanted to. I had a lot of obstacles, and my mother was one of them.
Wow. Now I've seen a couple of your interviews. I've read up on you. I do my due diligence, and I stalk people when I'm interviewing. Right. And I know that whole story. Are you wanting to tell a little bit of it?
Nah, we good. We can talk. Yeah, no doubt. Okay. At the time, like I said, I was passionate about hip hop. I was also going to the Kingdom Hall because my mother was a Jehovah's Witness.
Right.
So my mother started going to the Kingdom Hall back in 1973, 1974, she started to go into the Kingdom Hall, and she ultimately became a Jehovah's Witness in 1974, right after my father died. In September of 1974, she became baptized and dedicated her life to Jehovah in November of 1974. Mm-hmm. So then, my father wasn't around to save me, basically, because when he was alive, my father protected me by, allowing me to hang out with him, right, and not going to the Kingdom Hall with my mother. But when he passed away, I had no choice. Now I had to go to the Kingdom Hall with my moms. And it was rough because I didn't want to be no Jehovah's Witness, and my mother was putting a lot of peer pressure on me to become one, right, despite how I felt about what I wanted to do in my life. So she didn't care. My mother put every obstacle in front of me. She did everything to discourage me not to get into hip hop. And so, now years ago, when telling this story, I used to get really emotional. I've gotten better over the years. I'm not as emotional.
I've seen some of those and heard it, and
I've gotten a lot better.
Yeah,
I've gotten a lot better. One, because I'm doing what I'm doing now. You know what I'm saying? And
even though it's years later.
Yeah. And back then, my mother, she used to take my worldly clothes, the clothes that I used to wear to work and wear to hanging out, school. It wasn't fit for the Kingdom Hall. Mm-hmm. So my mother used to one time she paid one of my friends that used to live on my block on 112 Road. She paid him $25 to come upstairs in my room. I used to live in the attic in my house. She, so she got him to come upstairs to my room and get all my British Walkers, my leather bombers, my sheepskins. And I'm talking about I had 2 or 3 coats. I had 3 sheepskins. I had about 4 leather bombers. I had leather fronts with the dice on them.
Yeah.
And the hearts on them. I used to buy them from Delancey Street and from the Jew Man on Simpson Street up in the Bronx. So I had British Walk. I had 2-tone British Walkers. I had leather fronts. I had leather pants. I had leather ties. I had gazelles. I had Kangos. So my mother would put all this in a hefty bag, in a garbage bag, and have my homeboy take my shit and put it in the Goodwill box on Farmers Boulevard.
Oh.
So when I came home, my room would be clean. I'm like, yo, where's all my stuff at? And I go out and I'm looking all over the house because I'm thinking she hid my stuff in her closet. I'm looking on. I think I went outside to look in the guy. What I did was I went outside and to see if she put my stuff in the garbage.
Right.
In the garbage can behind the house or the side of the house. And then I came up to the front of the house in disgust, and I seen my homeboy. I said, yo, my mom. He said, yo, man, your stuff is at the Goodwill box. Your mom's paid me to put it there. He said, if you run up there right now, you should be able to still get it because I put it on the bottom. So nobody knows it's there. And if you knew, it was on the way on the bottom. Man, dude, I ran up the Farmers Boulevard, jumped inside the Goodwill box. I crawled my skinny behind up in that.
I did the box. Same thing for my British Walkers.
Yo, man, I had 3-4 pairs of British Walkers, dude. Man, I had gear. Everybody in Queens can tell you I had gear. So I had to go back. I went up there quick, in a hurry. Got all my stuff. She had about 3 bags of stuff, B. Yo, I grabbed all them bags out the Goodwill box. People was like, yo, this dude is getting his, yeah. I'm inside the Goodwill box. Bus, the city, the Q3A bus was, going by. People was on the bus, was laughing, and I ain't care. I wanted my stuff. So I dragged my stuff back to the crib, and I put my stuff somewhere that I know she don't check. Because she wasn't home. She wasn't home, so I was like, I got to put my stuff somewhere so this can't happen no more. Because if I was lucky to get what I got because I ran straight to my homeboy. You know what I'm saying? So I got my stuff, and she just smirked when she saw me wearing one of my stuff. She said, "Oh, you found your stuff, huh?" I said, "Yep, sure did." She said, "If you miss one meeting at the Kingdom Hall, your co-op program job employment will be over." Yo, my mother was like, "Look, if you miss a meeting, I don't care about nothing else. If you miss a meeting at the Kingdom Hall, you can kiss your job goodbye. You can kiss everything that you're trying to do goodbye. I'm not having it." So, like I said, she started putting a lot more peer pressure on me. When we was inside the Kingdom Hall on, Sunday afternoon, Sunday morning, Sunday service, she would pay me to make comments at the Kingdom Hall.
Right.
She'd be like, "Here's $20. She'll poke me in my ribs. Here's $20. Make a comment right here. And if you use a scripture, I'll give you an extra $10. So I'm giving you $20 to make a comment right here on paragraph 17. And then along with that, if you add a scripture to tie in with the comment, I'll give you extra $10. So she would do, I ain't gonna curse, but she would do, stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? She would do stuff like that. So when I got my car in 1985, I had to if I had people from the Kingdom Hall in my car, it was cool. If people that didn't go to the Kingdom Hall was in my car, she would take the car away from me. Right. Yo, my mother would do everything. So I had to end up dropping people off at the corner.
Right.
Clean her car out. Because we used to drink and smoke in my car. So I got to clean the ashtrays. I got to clean out the car before I bring it home. Because now, the next day, Sunday, I got to pick up all her old girlfriends. You know what I'm saying? I got to pick them up. So when they get in the car was like immaculate. Oh, Sister yeah. Oh, Sister Chamberlain, your son treats his car like, oh my God, it smells wonderful in here. Oh, he looks so good. Oh, Daniel, you look so nice.
Oh man. So let me ask you a question. How did this affect you and you getting into hip hop the way you wanted to?
It took years. I missed the boat in the 80s. I missed the boat in the 90s. And then what happened was, years later, I already had left New York, moved to Atlanta, Georgia. And I was already in my first marriage. And,
okay.
I got a home built, had a home, had a nice job, had a nice car, my first son was born. But I was still unhappy. I wasn't happy. I was making good money, and I had, like I said, I had everything, but something was missing.
Missing, yeah.
Something was missing. And I hated to go to work and rhyme. I would just be practicing, or I'd be rhyming when I hear something on the radio and they playing the instrumental, and I'm, at work rhyming, and people would hear me, and they were like, "Dang, that's you?" I said, "Yeah." "Dang, you sound like LL." I'm like, oh. And then, and then some of the coworkers saw me when LL used to come to perform in Atlanta, I would be on stage with him because I'm like I said, I grew up with him.
Yep.
So I'll be in the newspaper in the Constitution was the Atlanta Constitutional Journal. The newspaper in Atlanta, they would have, you know, pictures and article about, you know, his performance the day before. And so one of the pictures, I'm in one of the pictures. And so a coworker was like, "You really do know LL?" I was like, "Yeah, I've been trying to tell you that." And you know him? I said, "Yeah, duh." And so I used to play some of my tapes at work. Some of my old demo tapes, some of the stuff that I did in the 80s.
Right.
So they would, "Oh, that's LL's new song?" "No." "That's me." They like, "That's you?" They be like, "Why you work here?" And I used to sit there like, "Yeah, why?
Why do I work here?"
Why do I work here? Yeah. So, and what happened was, it started getting like, my spirit, it was shaking my spirit. Something was like, you're not happy. You want to do what you want to do in hip hop, and I'm going to help you, but you still got to find your way a little, you know?
Yeah.
So 2008, one of my cousins, Uncle Boogie, John, came to stay in my home. He was having some problems where he was at.
Right.
And he stayed in my crib for a couple weeks. And he seen the boxes of tapes, cobwebs, spider webs on them. And he's like, "Yo, cuz, how many tapes you got?" I said, "I don't know, maybe about 200 at the time. About 200. Yeah, I had about 200 tapes. Loose out. They wasn't even in the case. They were just in boxes. In shoe boxes, other kind of boxes." And he's like, "Yo, cuz, you need to do something with these tapes. Like, you got history right here in these boxes, B." And I'm like, yeah, I know. So in the meantime, I'm playing these tapes in my car, in my home. And I converted some of the tapes to CD. Yeah. You see, that. Yeah,
it looked like that.
Yeah, it looked like that. Yeah. Yeah. So, funny, dude just put out a box of tapes like, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we did this already. We did.
Yeah. So I'm driving on I-85, 285. I'm stuck in traffic. Every day I'm 2 hours in traffic. And I'm like, I'm playing tapes in my car. It's summertime. I'm like, okay, let me turn the air conditioner off. Let me roll down the windows. And I'm playing my tapes loud. And I'm talking about park jams and tapes from Queens and tapes from the Bronx. I'm playing all these tapes that I've been collecting all these years. And people would like slow down, bopping their head. "Yo, you from New York? Yo, you from Queens?" I'm like, yeah, no doubt. They're like, "Yo, I gotta have a copy of that. I gotta get a copy of that. I got to know you. Yo, where you live at? Yo, what's your number?" And we're in traffic, and then we're driving.
Traffic, exchanging, networking, like you said.
It's crazy. I'm like, yo, see, and when I converted them to CDs, I'm playing the CD in the car.
Yeah.
So, that was my first confirmation. Second confirmation was from Red Alert. He used to live in the Atlanta area, and I used to, bump into him a lot. And I said, "Yo, Red, I'm down with ZULUNATION, and I got tapes, and one day I want to play these tapes on the radio." He said, "Yo, if you got tapes like that, brother, go for it." I said, "All right, cool." That's the second confirmation. The third confirmation was I was on I-285 going towards AT&T. I used to work at AT&T at the time. And Frank Ski and Wanda Smith was on B103 It was the largest urban radio show, morning show in the country. And President Obama was running for president. And I called into their live talk show to talk to Frankie and Wanda about encouraging voting for Obama, because as Jehovah's Witnesses, we don't vote.
Right.
So I was encouraging all ex-Jehovah's Witnesses, former Jehovah's Witnesses, to vote. And he said, yo, I never knew that Jehovah's Witnesses don't vote or don't, that's not what they do. That's like, nah, we don't vote. And I haven't voted. I never had voted in my life until Obama was running for president. That was the first time in my life I voted.
Wow.
So he said, yo, why don't you bring some copies of your book, The Kingdom Hall No More? I just published my book around the same time. And I told him I wrote a book. And he said, yo, why don't you bring some copies up to the radio station at B103 and pass them out? I said, cool. I get up there, I passed out my book. And I said, yo, Frank, I got a tape of you when you was a teenager in 1981 at Harlem World. You was in an amateur contest and you came in second place. He said, yeah. I've been looking at that tape. Yeah, he was like, yo, how you know? I got the tape. He said, yo, I've been looking for that tape for 25 years.
Wow.
I said, 25 years? He said, no one had the tape. Bismarcky at the time, rest in peace, he didn't have the tape. Red Alert didn't have the tape. Nobody had the tape. So I said, I got the tape. I got you. So a couple weeks later, it was going on, I think, Thanksgiving. Mm-hmm. It was either between Thanksgiving or Christmas. And I said, I'm gonna go down there he had a club. Okay. On Peachtree in Midtown Atlanta called it was on Midtown Manhattan. It was on Peachtree Street. And I went to his club and I put the tape in, in the CD as a gift, gift wrapped it to him. And I said, yo, here's the tape and here's the CD. He said, yo, man, thank you, man. I really appreciate you, man. Yo, you need to do something with those tapes. And, I'll help you out. That was the third confirmation. 1, 2, 3. The third confirmation that I need to do something with these tapes. So how God works is I was still married to my first wife. I decided that I wanted to leave my first wife and get with somebody else because I'm thinking the grass is greener on the other side. You know what I'm saying? So it wasn't going nowhere. I was really unhappy, and I decided to, leave my first wife and get with somebody else. And then I got with the other person, and she became my second wife. And I got, I went all out, bought another home, got another car, got another job. I'm thinking I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm thinking I'm content, and I just have to just forget about my dream. Then, I got divorce papers some years later from my second wife.
Wow.
And she left me and took, I lost my home. I lost my job. I lost my car. I lost my marriage. All within 6 months.
Wow. You was in a dark place right there.
Dark place. Yeah, man. Like, I was like, wow. I've never been in a place like this before. Like, I was able to, get up on other, situations that, I fell. But this one was like, I fell hard. And trying to figure out how to get back up was really, kind of difficult for me. Even for me. Because I usually get right back up and bounce right back. But I really didn't know how or where I was going to end up at. And then one day I was sitting on my oldest son's bed because what happened was my first ex-wife saw me sleeping in the car after I lost my home. And she allowed me to sleep on the couch in her apartment. And so she allowed me to sleep on the couch. And I would go back and forth from my son's room, and I was crying on my son's bed. And he said, I don't know what to do. He said, why don't you go back to New York? And going back to New York was like, no, I'm not going back to New York. Like, nah, you know. Then I kept thinking about it. I said, well, I am from New York. I know everything about hip hop. Everything in hip hop I need to do is in New York. Yeah. All my connections in New York. I lived in New York half my life. So
I'm sure you still knew a lot of people out there.
Yeah, it just made sense. And I was like, you know what? I'm going back to New York. And that was 7 years ago.
Wow.
7 years ago, I decided to leave Georgia. I came back up to New York, rented a room in somebody's apartment in the Bronx, in Soundview. The room, in my house in Georgia, my master bedroom was bigger than my room.
Wow.
My closet, my walk-in closet. I had 2 walk-in closets at my last home in Georgia. One of my walk-in closets was bigger than the room that I was staying in the Bronx. So I'm in the Bronx. I got the only thing I have is unemployment benefits. So I had unemployment benefits, and that's it. I had no job. I didn't know what I was going to do. And I came back up to do a live streaming, you know, so I could play some of my tapes.
Right.
Now, you know what I'm saying? I wanted to play some of these tapes that I converted to CD and MP3 files. So I did all the converting to MP3 8 years ago. So everything, when I came back up to New York, everything was already converted to MP3. So all I had to do was, I came up with the Geechie Dan Hip Hop Tape Show. And started out on Blog Talk Radio with DJ Sean from Hilltop Radio. And then when I got to New York, physically came back to New York, I started on Flow Empire Radio and different other platforms, so I can interview the pioneer and I can play the tape.
Yeah.
The vision was to be the first individual that dedicate a show to the tapes. So I wanted to play the tapes, and then I wanted, people to hear the tapes, and then ultimately doing live streaming, I said, okay, cool. Now that they're hearing the tapes, now I want them to see the people that's on the tapes and interview them, the pioneers, the icons and the legends. So I went from, living in somebody else's room and unemployment, and came back to New York and made my dream come true. One of my dreams came true.
Yes, bro. Man.
And with that being said, I couldn't see. If you'd have told me that I would be in the position that I am now 8 years ago, I'd have laughed at you. I said, no, I ain't. Stop lying. But I came back. I had a lot of faith that carried me to where I'm at today. And my passion is very, very high. I'm very energetic.
Since the beginning.
Yeah. My passion is I've been passionate about hip hop since I was a teenager. So the faith that I've had, and then my passion, it was like a no-brainer. I had to come back and turn my passion into my purpose. And your purpose will ultimately lead you to your destiny.
Yeah.
But I couldn't see that at the time. God had to clear everything out of my way. Everything that was blocking me, everything that, and people that was in my life at that time.
Yeah.
He had to remove everything. So when I came back to New York, I had a fresh start.
Yeah.
And that's just what happened. I started all over.
A lot of people don't understand, you know, when you ask, I believe in when you put stuff out in the universe hears you.
Yes.
And it doesn't always happen the way you want it to happen. But that ultimate ending will happen. You wanted to get into the hip hop world. So a lot of other things had to happen, good or bad, in order for you to get out of that situation and get into this hip hop world, which, you know, a lot of people are thankful that you are in this and that you did dedicate your time and efforts, even though you may not have known it, like you said, sometime later, but you actually filled some people's dreams of hearing their self 40 years later, 30 years later, for a little hip hop, not hip hop, but tape trivia. Cassette tapes is about 61 years old now. They were created in 1962 in Belgium.
Yes.
First cassette tape. So celebrate to the tapes, and everybody had all their stuff on the tapes back in the day. This happened to be a Boys to Men. You got your R. Kellys, you got your Janet Jacksons, and what you had was the original tape of somebody doing what the beginnings of hip hop was.
Yes.
Oh man.
So let me tell you something, man.
Yes.
Let me tell you something. Since I came back to New York, I've been praying to God I've been telling him my dreams. I've been asking him how to move. I've been getting confirmation. I've been planting seeds, and I've been grinding and just thinking outside the box.
Yeah.
I've always been like that. I've always looked at situations. I said, well, why, if we doing it like this on this level, why we can't do it on another level? Yeah. And I look at that with business. I look at that with, religion, I look at that with everything, all situations. And so I kept, just kept pushing and kept grinding, because I knew it was going to lead me to an opportunity. And other things started happening. People would call me or reach out to me on social media. Have you ever thought about being an archivist? I'm like, no. Would you like to work for the museum and be the archivist? Would you like to be the executive director? I'm like, sure. I'm telling you, everything started coming at me. Like, I was like, yo, they like, you know so much about hip hop. You know everybody in hip hop. You've helped people. Yo, we would like for you to be the executive director for our museum in DC. I said, okay, cool. Great.
Just like that. Yeah, no problem.
Yeah. And then I would, get another call. Geechie, can you help me do something for the Hip Hop Hall of Fame? Sure, no problem. Geechie, would you like to be the co-chairman for the Hip Hop Hall of Fame? Sure, cool. All right. The Win Fanatics is a car crew out of Queens. Yo, Geechie, can you wear our clothing? Can you wear our brand? I said, yo, all right, cool. So they made me the brand ambassador for the Wit Fanatics. Then Generation Hip Hop Global, that was based out of South Africa, where Nelson Mandela's grandson, Ndaba Mandela, he was the chairman of the organization. He was like, yo, why don't you be our brand ambassador? Okay, cool. I'm talking about, yo.
No problem.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah. And then I was like, yo, I got an idea to have hip hop connected to the UN. I got an idea about hip hop in space. I got an idea about hip hop on top of Mount Everest. I got an idea about hip hop playing hip hop at Antarctica. I got an idea about hip hop at the North Pole. Yo, I got about 80 ideas that I've written down over the years, and I asked God how to plant seeds with each idea. He said, why don't you make a phone call to NASA? I'm like, God, you sure? He said, I'm God. I can make it happen for you.
I'll do it.
I'm like, God, stop playing with me. Stop playing. He said, Daniel, have I ever let you down? No. Shut up. Get on the phone. Plant the seed. I'm like, okay. I call NASA. Hey, I got an idea to play tapes on Mars. I got an idea to do a park jam in Pluto. You think we can partner up? Well, we haven't thought about anything like that. This is something new that we never heard of before. Well, hey, let's see if we can make it happen. Maybe it'll take 10 years, but let's put the seed out there, you know? So that's what God has been doing with me over the last 7-8 years. Plant seeds.
Plant seeds.
Yeah, he's making me plant seeds. He said, you talk about it all the time. You know hip hop in the back of your head. Yo, you talk about doing all this for all these pioneers, for the legends, all these people that contribute to this wonderful, rich culture called hip hop. And us all you wanted to do ever in your life. So now I'm making it happen for you.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take you places. I'm gonna take you places you dreamed of going, and you're gonna go for free, and you're gonna get paid for going, and you're gonna be living here, and you're gonna be doing this, and you're gonna be so busy you ain't gonna have time to do nothing else. So get ready, pull your pants up, and get ready, because now I got you. You want to do this? Plant the seed. I'll make it grow. It may be patient. It ain't gonna happen overnight, but continue planting the seeds. Continue making phone calls. Call the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Call the museum in Nashville. Call the Smithsonian. Call the museum in DC. Call the Long Island Music Hall of Fame. See if they can do an exhibit for you. Call Ralph McDaniel. Call this one. Call the library. Call the university in Idaho. Call this one. Call that one. I'm like, okay.
All right.
Yeah, and then I get phone calls, and I'm like, yo, God, you serious? He's like, I told you.
I got you.
If you listen to me, I told you already. What about Rock the Bells? I'll take care of that. I'll put it in LL's heart. And sure enough, LL Cool J, my man, my homeboy, my childhood friend, called me up 2 years ago. Geechie, I want you to play your tapes on Rock the Bells on Sirius XM.
Oh,
I said,
dope.
okay. He said, you ready? I said, Psh. He said, how many times can you be on the air? I said, yo, I can do this every day. He said, nah. Then I thought about it. I said, every day might be a little bit too much right now. So let's try, let's try once a week. You know what I'm saying? I'll give you a 2-year deal. Let's see what you do. Bet. You ain't got to say no more.
That's dope, bro.
So when that seed was planted, then I got phone calls to do a reality show with this. You know, take it to let's do a Christian-based hip hop show.
Right.
On Christian TV. I'm like, okay, I'll put the seed out for it. Why not? Anything can happen. Anything is possible with God. You don't know what.
Dan, let me tell you about putting out the seeds to add on to your confirmation. I heard you on Ron the Supreme show on freeagentradio.com. Shout out to both of them. Shout out to Heavy Hitter DJ Cam, Free Agent Radio.
Yes.
I heard you. I'm like, yo, I gotta get in contact with this dude. And that seed was planted. So fast forward about just a couple of weeks ago, when we actually talked, I'm like, I was on the phone with Tony Crush. We were talking, and I was like, yo, you know this dude that does the tapes, Geechie Dan? He's like, yeah, that's my man.
Yep.
I'm like, for real, I want to interview him because I'm into tapes too.
Right.
He's like, hold on. So he did the 3-way call, but you didn't pick up. So
right.
He's like, yo, I'll call him later. And then he must have called you later and said,
yes, he did.
He sent your number to me. And then I reached out to you. I don't know if it was that night or the next day.
Yes.
And told you the same thing. Like, yo, I've been looking for you for like 2 years. I just had no connection to anybody to get to you. Planting the seeds.
Yeah. A lot of people don't want to do the work, but they already wanted for it to be there for them. And that's not going to happen. You got to plant seeds, and you got to water these seeds, nurture them, and you got to have some faith, and you got to do the work behind the planting the seeds. You got to put in the grind, and a lot of people don't want to put in. People talk a good game, but they don't want to put in the grind because this is your dream. Ain't nobody gonna just give you your dream. You got to go and you got to make it happen. There's no plan B. There's no plan C. So what you do is you got to make plan A work.
Yeah.
You got to make plan A work, and I got to make plan A work. So if I got to knock on all the doors, then I'm going to knock on all the doors. And I learned that when I was going out in field service, when I was a Jehovah's Witness,
right,
going to the Kingdom Hall, I learned when you knock on the door on Saturday morning at 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock in the morning, somebody's going to come to the door and they're going to either say, what is it that you want for wake? Because you woke me up. So you better come with some weather presentation. You better say it, and it better be good. Because I'm selling these watchtowers and these awakes for the cost of print of a quarter, 35 cents, a dime. But I got to say something to get your attention. So I treat my grind just like a Jehovah's Witness. If I'm not getting any response from that door, I'm going to the next door, and the next door. And then somewhere along the line, I'm going to get rid of these magazines that I'm placing for a quarter, for a dime. Right. Or I'm placing these seeds in somebody's ear. And then some people, just like you, people will call me after they received an email from me, or after they saw my post on Facebook or on Instagram. They'll call me. They'll DM me. Yo, I saw your show, or I heard your show, or I understand you connected to the museum in DC, or I understand you connected to the Hip Hop Hall of Fame. I understand you on Rock the Bells. I understand you got tapes, audio. Yes, I do. Who are you? I'm the Library of Congress. Oh, bet. I need to come and see you. I'll be on the bus, on the mega bus.
Yeah.
I'm coming to see you. Who are you again? My name is Geechie Dan. I'm coming to see you.
That's me knocking on the door right now.
Yeah, that's me. They like, yo, you here already? Yep, sure was. Can you let me in? I like to have a cup of coffee. Can I have some tea with lemon? Thank you. Where can I sit? Yeah. No, I'm not playing. I want these tapes in your institution. How can we make that happen? Can we get an exhibit at your establishment for these pioneers? Well, we never had anybody approach us like that. Good. Now you do. And if you say no, I'm going to 5 other people. So you need to, you know what I'm saying?
Dan, wrapping this thing up with your experience with the Jehovah's Witness, the whole experience, good and bad, that you had, how did this help you now? How did that experience help you now? Because you said a little bit part of it is being relentless.
Right.
You know,
Jehovah's Witnesses are known to be that way.
Yeah.
So I had to take what I grew up with and turn it to a positive situation for myself, because I said, you know what? I'm good at networking. I'm good in that. I'm good at, grinding. I don't mind doing the work. And I always thought outside the box. So when I come at people, it's always going to be something they never even heard of. No one discussed it, or they just never heard nobody talk the way that I'm coming at them.
Right.
So I use that as my advantage. When I come at people, I'm like, yo, I got an idea for you. I want to do this and this, and they're like, what? That's dope. Oh, that's a dope idea. I never heard of. Nobody's never came at me like that. I know. So why is that? So while people out here doing what they do, I don't worry about nobody else, because ain't nobody else coming at these institutions and at these people that can help me. They never came at them the way I'm coming at them, because they're too busy doing what they've been doing every year. And so after a while, I'm like, look, I don't mind coming and support your event, but please know, I'm not going to keep coming back up here popping no bottles on the Grand Concourse with you.
Mm-hmm, right.
Or doing barbecues with you. I'm not going to I got to make things, I got to do something global.
Yeah.
I got to do something that's going to have an impact on, on the chess moves that I create. And it got to be something iconic. So when I go into a situation, it has to be global, iconic, and it has to have an impact. And I talked about it with God. Each situation, each opportunity, each chess move, each seed that I plant, I talk and discuss this with God. And he says, okay, you make the first move. You got an idea about NASA and space? Call NASA. If somebody tells you they're not interested, call somebody else at NASA. Go on Facebook and meet somebody that works for NASA. Go on Instagram, meet somebody that works at NASA. Connect with them. Give them a DM. Get their email address. Send them what you're dreaming about.
Yeah.
What you want to do. Send them an email. Send them a message on what you want to do. And can you set up a meeting? Can we have a meeting about this? Is it somewhere you can direct me to somebody that can help me at NASA about this idea? Same thing with doing something at Mount Everest. I want to be the first person on top of Mount Everest.
That's dope, bro.
Yeah, so I gotta go and hit somebody that's involved with the Mount Everest organizations that climb the mountain, and I got to find out how to go around doing that. Same thing with the North Pole, same thing with the South Pole, same thing with Antarctica, same thing with branding with this company. You know, I'm like, hip hop to me should be at 50 years, we should be already doing incredible things. And we're not. And that hurts when there's so much more we can do. But we'd rather just be content and settle with what's in the box. And a lot of people, like I said, they don't want to think outside the box. You know, they still think hip hop started 10 years ago, and they still, you know, running around doing the same thing they did 2 years ago, they did 3 years ago. You know what I'm saying? They're not doing anything different. They're not changing anything. They content with what they're doing. And it shows. You know, despite what they're talking, it shows that they're doing the same thing over and over and over and over with the same results. Yeah. So you know, I tell people, I'll give you, why are you doing this? If I told you that this streaming company, I need to call this network, you know, so either way, I'm going to try to make it happen over here. And you know, being in New York is a pro and there's a con. The pro is that everything has to ultimately come through New York. When it comes to business, when it comes to radio, entertainment, New York is the hub. Now, the con is that the people that's from New York, we're very biased, and we also there's a lot of arrogance, right? Because we feel like because we're from New York or we're in New York, we're the home of hip hop. Hip hop started in New York, so we don't think outside the box more than we should. So that's the con when you're talking to somebody in New York about something about hip hop, because they can't see past the Harlem River. They can't see past the George Washington Bridge, you know? So it's like, I got to go outside of New York and then come back. So sometimes you got to go outside the New York area, tri-state area, and then work your way back. Yeah. For people to get it. And then once they get it, it's too late. I already blew up like Oklahoma from that situation. Right. I already got to deal with that situation. I already opened some doors. I already planted some seeds with that situation.
Yeah. For everybody who's listening and watching, Geechie Dan has been throwing out platinum nuggets. Y'all need to be writing some of this stuff down. And this is why I wanted to talk to him. I don't know why, but I had a connection. You know, I just, from hearing your interview, I just wanted to talk with you and chop it up a little. And, you know, and it was well worth the wait, the almost 2 years wait.
Right.
You know?
Right.
Throwing out nuggets. We, like you said, we are over 50. We have more time behind us than in front of us.
Exactly.
So, you know, there is no time to waste with things. You have to plant your seeds. Like you said, you need to plant those seeds. We talked about, you know, putting it in the universe. You have to do all it. Well, I believe in the throwing it out to the universe thing. Yes. I don't know about everybody else, but
exactly.
you need to.
Yes, you got to put it out there in the universe, and you got to claim it.
And claim it,
yeah, and it's not going to happen overnight. See, people, like I said, they want this instant gravitation instantly. They want this instant. It doesn't happen that way.
They want
you got to put some work in it. Yeah, you know, you got to put some work at it. You got to. Yeah. I've been telling people for years about sharing posts and comments on social media. I've been telling people
offline, bro.
People don't want to they listening now, but I've been doing this for 6-7 years already. Yes. I'm already 6-7 years deep in sharing. I share so much
on Facebook, they restrict me every week. Every week they restrict me for sharing because I share so much content on Facebook.
Yeah.
They get sick of me. I got 40 shares on this post. I got 60 shares on another post. I got 100 shares on this post. And they be like, yo, people be like, yo, you share too much. No, I don't. Facebook is free. Networking is free. There's 4 billion people on Facebook.
Yes.
Wow. So if there's 4 billion people on Facebook, and there's the same amount of number of followers on Instagram, then we should be able to grow. Our numbers should grow from just networking.
Networking, yeah.
From sharing. If I got 4 billion people on Facebook, then I should be able to share my content all over the world. Japanese hip hop, Italian hip hop, French hip hop, all these groups, Australian hip hop, South American hip hop, World Breakdancing Crew, this radio station, this group, this hip hop group, this dancing group, this rap group. You know, you got Japanese rap groups, you got Korean, you got all. I belong to about 400 groups on Facebook. So every time I post, I share to each group.
Yeah.
And that's how I get my numbers. So when people look at my numbers, they like, yo, this dude's numbers is crazy. I get friend requests every day from people that I don't even know outside of New York. I'm outside the country.
Outside the country, people,
outside the country. I'm talking about people from all over the world. Because I'm sharing my content in groups that they belong to. So now they send me a friend request on being friends so they can get the network with me.
Yes.
And then ultimately they reach out to me. Thanks, Geechie Dan, for being my friend. Have you ever thought about doing this? I'm in Germany. I'm in Australia. I'm in Korea. I can connect you with this person. We're thinking about doing an exhibit here in Switzerland. We want to do something in England. Can you come up to England?
Bro. Just on a smaller scale with the sharing stuff, imagine you had 30 people like us that would get a piece of content and within our little network, we sharing out to everybody, making a couple of comments, you know, getting to the algorithm, whether it's YouTube or Facebook or Instagram, because people are making comments now. And now everything you do, it's getting eyes on. And as opposed to that one like that was probably you liking your own post.
Right. And I keep that's another thing I keep telling people. This is your brand. This is your name attached to this. You got to do what's best for your brand. You want your brand to be global. You want your brand to be global. So you got to connect with people outside of, you know, your family and your immediate friends and people from this borough or people from this, you know, from this city. You got to, this is your brand. You want your name and your brand all over the world. So you got to treat your brand as such. I see people, like I said, they talk a good game. They post a party, but they only post it, they share it 1, maybe 3 times. They share it. Or maybe somebody else shared it.
Yeah.
But then they get mad at me because they want me to share it. I'm like, how are you asking me to share your situation when you're not even sharing it?
Yeah.
How you want me to share it? Yo, Geechie, can you share my birthday party? Why? You're not even sharing it.
Yo, tell him to hit the cash out.
I'm not gonna help you. I'm like, yo, check it out. How do you want me to share your posts when you don't even share your posts?
Tell him to hit the cash app.
I'm like, yeah, all right, whatever. I like, you want me to post this? You pay me.
Yeah.
Pay me. You don't want to pay me? Then you go do it yourself. Or get somebody else that's stupid enough to do it for you. Because I ain't doing it. Because when you see, so you know what? Let me tell you something. I tried to help some organizations and some people sharing and posting their information and wearing their product and tagging their name and of their organization, the name of their group. And people are ungrateful, yo. I'm like, I'm tagging you. This is your brand. This is your organization. And you get mad at me and you ain't paying me? Mm-hmm. And you got the nerve to be mad and you talking to me like you lost your mind. All right. All right, cool. All right.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Oh man, that is so dope, bro. I appreciate you coming on. And I know we started out talking about the tapes, but we kind of veered off. But the things that happen in your life and the experience you've gained from all of these incidents, whether good or bad. And I tell people that all the time. Everything that happened to you, whether good or bad, led us up to this point here where we're on this live stream show.
Yes.
And, anything veered off, we're not talking right now. I don't know you. You may have never interviewed with Rhonda, so I don't hear of you at that particular time.
Right.
Dope, man, dope. Like I said, Geechie Dan has been putting out platinum nuggets. People need to listen. You need to listen. Let's start wrapping this thing up. So, what you got going on in the future? You got the radio. You got the invites to all these museums, and they want you to set up all type of stuff. You got NASA. We going hip hop in space.
Yeah, man. I'm really busy. Like, God has been really good to me to finally being successful in what I love to do. It's one thing working a job and retiring, and that's cool. I'm not knocking that. I got people that just retired from what they was doing, in their profession. That's cool. But I just didn't want to go through the rest of my life regretting what if, and what could happen. I said, this is my life and I love this. And right. I want to do this. And that's all I asked since I was a teenager. All I wanted to do is what I love to do and be successful in what I love to do and be happy. And that's what God has put for me to do. And it's been a blessing. And I'm glad I had enough faith to take the lead for my destiny, man. So I look at LL, Cool J, the GOAT. I look at him and I say, wow, he knew. And some things it's clear that this is their destiny.
Yeah.
And he knew early on, as well as myself, but it just wasn't meant for me to be for me at that time. And it was meant for me to go a different route. But I respect him a lot. I love him and I respect him for what he had. He was determined. He was passionate and he made it happen. And I give him a lot of credit for that, man. So right. That's what, so when I tell people, when I interview people, I don't want people to think that just came and was handed to him. This was not handed to him. Your dream is not handed to you. You got to go make it happen, and it's going to be sacrifices. It's going to be things that you ain't going to want to do. There's going to be some. You might have to go. You might have to get on that 1 o'clock bus to Cleveland, or you might have to go take the bus because you can't afford the plane. But you got to go make it happen. And then a lot of people ain't gonna want to do that. You know, you might have to walk through some dirty water with a bunch of rats and they running back and forth in the alley. You ain't gonna, I ain't doing that. You know, I ain't doing that. But like I said, it's some sacrificing. And a lot of people talk a good game, but talk is cheap.
Yep. Definitely. Anybody you want to shout out?
I want to shout out my co-host, Diamond the Artist, my DJ for our show that we do on Sirius XM on LL Cool J Rock the Bells. Planet Other Tapes, Diamond the Artist. Good dude.
We gotta get him here on the DJ interview.
Yeah, gotta get him. So yeah, I'm gonna reach out to him and get him. Definitely need to get him on your platform, because he's been in the game and been successful what he do a lot longer than myself. So, and he deserves that just as well as LL and Biz Markie. I like rest in peace to Biz Markie, because he gave me a lot of platinum jewels as well, man. And and I appreciate the pioneers. They always call me. They always reach out to me. They always, ask me how am I doing. They really appreciate from what I'm doing for hip hop and what I'm what I've done and I'm still doing and continue doing and giving their accolades and their flowers now, not when they're 6 feet deep. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Give them their flowers they can smell now and just continue being a servant of hip hop, honoring pioneers and legends and icons despite their flaws, despite their ego, their arrogance, their imperfections, their personality. I don't care about all that. Only thing I care about is what you have done to contribute to hip hop. So I put the personalities, the egos, the arrogance, the mindset, I put all that to the side because God told me to honor, to serve hip hop. You're not going to like everybody that you come across to, but you have to honor them for what they contribute to this big pot of gumbo I call hip hop.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully, people would, take heed on what I'm saying, because a lot of times we let someone's arrogance or somebody's personality stop us from doing what we're supposed to be doing, which is honoring them.
Yeah. Definitely.
Once I figure that out, you can't stop me.
Right.
You can hate me, you can disrespect, you can talk, but God told me continue doing the right thing by your marriage, continue doing the right thing by your business partners and your job, and continue doing the right thing with hip hop and the pioneers. Just continue doing the right thing. And that's it. So I try to do the right thing. I wake up in the morning, I pray about stuff, and I'm like, God wants to smile. Yo, you want me to smile on you today? Do this. I'm like, all right, God. All right. And it feels good. Sometimes I got to make 4 or 5 phone calls to make it happen. Or sometimes it's like, dang, I got to make this happen before my wife get home because she ain't trying to hit me on the phone. So I got to make it happen. And sometimes I got to sacrifice on making it happen. But I want God to continue smiling on me. It feels good. And we're not perfect. And I'm not saying I'm perfect. I'm just saying this is what I try to do every day. Sometimes, some days it don't be like that. Some days it's like, I ain't do a good job of having God. I ain't do a good job on God smiling on me today. let's try to make up for it tomorrow. All right?
Yeah.
And we keep it moving and see, we don't worry about what I didn't do today, now what mistakes I made today. Today's another day. Let's try to make it happen so he can smile on me the next day. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, that is so dope. So big shout out to Tony Crush, DJ.
Yeah,
Tony
shout out
Crush,
to Tony
DJ Tony Tone of the Co-Crush Brothers for making this happen. He made the connection.
Yes, good dude.
Yes,
good dude. There's a lot of good dudes. There's a lot of good dudes. A lot of pioneers, man. Very supportive of what I'm doing, man, or what I have done, man. So big salute and thank you to all the pioneers that, that even though, whether you like me or not, whether you speak to me or not, thank you.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I appreciate you coming on and giving us your time. I know you're a busy person. It took us, a little bit of time, but we made it happen.
Yes,
and,
definitely.
I look forward to bringing you back on at a later date to find out what else new is going on. Did hip hop get to space? All of that. Are we playing on Mars yet?
I'm working on a talk show on a Christian-based network.
Okay.
And it's called Hip Hop Inspirational. It's about, using my tapes as testimony and inspiration to do what I do in hip hop. So it's like giving out advice. It's like just telling my testimony, type of inspirational, a Christian inspirational with hip hop.
Yeah.
Because like I said, it's just another lane for me to go where no one has traveled down this lane. No one has opened up the door to this lane to talk about Christian-based inspirational testimonial type with hip hop. Using my experiences, my testimony in hip hop as a TV show, as a Christian-based show.
Yeah.
So that's one thing I'm working on, and I'm working on a reality show, and I got ideas for about maybe 15 other type of shows that hasn't been explored, that hasn't been really, haven't been on anyone's radar to do. Yeah. And I just think that it should have been done years ago, but all right, God has placed me in a position to do it, so I'm gonna run with that. And I'm gonna make it happen. I ain't gonna try to make it happen. I'm gonna make it happen now. Pluto. I might have to hook up a youngin, somebody that's way younger than me.
Yeah, come in, to get there.
What I'm saying? I'm gonna plant the seed though, and then he's gonna have to, he's gonna have to get the harvest from that. You know what I'm saying? But let me plant the seed for the youngins, so they can start thinking this type of mindset for hip hop. Because we gotta, doing parties and doing promotions and doing this and doing that and the same thing everybody does, a clothing line, a liquor, every year. Come on, hip hop has we can go in different directions with hip hop.
Yeah.
We can do all kinds of beautiful things in hip hop. There's all kinds of situations. We don't have our own hip hop cable network. There's no hip hop cable network.
Not yet. We working on it.
That's what I'm saying. But we got every clothing line. But we got like 8 clothing lines. We got museums and galleries. Well, how come we don't? But we don't have our own cable network. What's up?
Yeah.
So
I'll talk to you offline about that one.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So when we talking about ownership, empowerment, we don't want to lease. We want to own. We don't want to lease the building. We want to own the building. This is hip hop. This is billions of dollars, and we're still talking about leasing.
Yeah.
Where's the ownership? Where's the mindset of having ownership of something that we could pass on to the next generation?
Nuggets, everyone.
So I want people, like I said, I want people to just try to understand where I'm coming from with this. It ain't disrespecting people that want to do what they want to do. It's just, sometimes we gotta think outside the box, and we gotta think for the future, and we gotta think about empowerment for the next generation and ownership.
Yeah.
And I just wish there was more people like, myself and you, that would think like that, and there isn't. So, hopefully, the next 50 years of hip hop, we can finally say, hey, we have done what Geechie Dan was talking about 50 years ago.
Yep. One of the reasons why I created this show, the DJ interview, is because, like you stated that earlier, a lot of these people are still here. Me and Tony Crush talk about it all the time. A lot of these pioneers are still here.
Yes.
And I want to get their story before somebody else tells their story and possibly get it wrong.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
So
we'll talk about that off. We'll talk about that off the air.
Yeah. So, two burning questions. Me and probably the other 3 billion people want to know: how many tapes do you have, and where are they right now?
Right now, I got about 1,000 tapes, CDs, MP3 files. Hip hop, park jams. I got reggae parties, live reggae parties. I got live go-go parties.
Wow.
So we're talking about from 1975 to present day. We're talking about old radio shows. We're talking about park jams from Queens, skating ring parties from Long Island, from from ZULUNATION Bronx River parties, T Connection, Harlem World, Savoy Manor, the XCC Garage, the T Connection, 123 Park, Soundview Park. We talking about Eden Wall. We talking about Paisley Park. We talking about Lincoln Park. We talking about Rochdale. We talking about Jamaica Park, Lincoln Park. We talking about Jersey. We talking about Connecticut. We talking about Brooklyn, Jamaica Roller Dome in Queens, Encore, Armazora, IS8 in Queens, and we talking about all these spots, these places, these live performances that I've collected over the years. And some gave me the tapes, some I found on different websites, some I was just really aggressive, and kept pushing the envelope with certain people. I'm like, yo, I want that tape, I'll trade with you, or just being really aggressive and passionate about collecting tapes over the years. It started out with just 50, then 100, and then 200 when I was in Atlanta. Then I came back to New York. People was like, the market is closed, or the market is closed up with these tapes. I'm like, nope, no, they not. And that's being as aggressive that I am. I found more tapes and found more individuals that had tapes. It was just a matter of me, God placing me to them. Just like you said, you might have a friend that got some tapes in Long Island. And this seems to happen to me every month. Since I came back to New York, this happens to me at least every other month or every 2 months. I run into somebody that got something. Magazines. Yo, give me those magazines. Oh, I was about to throw them out yesterday. I got about 150 of them. Yo, hold up, pause. I'll come out there and get them. Yo, man, it's the middle. I'm coming right now to Queens and pick them up. Don't throw them away. Yo, I got something for you. What? I'm on the Q44 right now. I'm on the train right now. Yo, I went to South Jersey for things, for items. Yo, that's just what I love to do. This is my passion. So, God has been really good to bless me, to continue blessing, putting people in my path that can help. And he's also blessed me to put people in my path to show me they playing games. So now I don't have to worry about seeing them in my path again, because now I know they playing. You speechless. I can't hear you. There you are.
You hear me now?
Yeah, I hear you.
Okay. Where are these tapes?
I got them.
If you can say.
I got them home. I got them here.
Okay.
I got tapes. I got CDs. They backed up on CDs. They backed up on my thumb drives. They backed up on a hard drive. They backed up on my computer. So I got like 8 backups.
Yeah, good. Because people don't understand these things will wear out over some time. People had no idea they were going to last, 30, 40, 50 years.
Right. And I got somebody that has what I have. They got it backed up as well.
Okay.
At another location. Yeah.
Good. So, this is Harry the Big Dog. Wait. How could people reach you and connect to you?
On Facebook as Geechie Dan. On Instagram as Geechie Dan Official. On Threads, the same thing, Geechie Dan Official. Twitter, I don't rock with Twitter as hard as the other 3 social media networks, but I do have a page on Twitter as Geechie Dan 100. And nice. You can message me, you can DM me, you become friends with me, and you know what I'm saying? I'm very transparent. I'm very transparent. So, I don't let nothing go to my head. I don't let nothing go to my head. You know what I'm saying?
Real cool dude. Real cool dude. Man, so instead of being speechless again, we gonna get out of here. This is Harry the Big Dog. We just gonna end it with both of us on. This is the DJ interview. I know Geechie Dan wasn't a DJ, but I felt it was important to understand this tape nostalgia and the collection of what he has still on cassette tape, now transferred to digital format for archive purposes. This is my man Geechie Dan. We are here on Tuesdays, 8 p.m.-ish Eastern time. Mm-hmm. We out. Appreciate the love, homie. Yes, sir.
All right. Holler at me when you get off.